Okay, we're live.
Cool. Welcome to Gameday716. We are your friends.
Your friends.
We're your friends. We're your relatives. We're your grandsons. Your nephews. I don't know. Did you send CJ the link?
Yeah.
Okay. Your uncles, your aunts. Not really. Don't worry about that, folks. So busy weekend in sports.
Yeah.
For a week,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Some fun times going on.
Yes.
A lot of stuff. Playoffs.
Playoffs.
NBA, NHL playoffs going.
Yeah.
We've got
Weird games.
weird games happening.
Good games too.
Good games.
The first Golden State game was pretty good.
That was great.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. We've got NFL draft to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk some Sabres a little bit.
Yeah. They had their all the players had their end of season
exit interviews,
and Granado and Adams had their final press conferences.
Right. So we'll talk about those because
fun times,
stuff to talk about.
There's hope.
There is hope.
So the draft. That was fun.
The draft?
The draft was fun. Like, can we admit that?
Did you have fun?
Like, I remember last year, first of all, taking forever.
It did take forever.
Teams using up the entire 15
time.
minutes. Not a single trade. Not a single deviation from the gazillion mock drafts that were all exactly the same.
Yep.
No.
This was not true this year.
This year, it was like they all took cocaine or something. Like, teams were ready. They were just
going.
You get a trade and you get a trade. I'm going to make a deal with you. That's like everybody read Donald Trump's book. And,
hey, Barrett.
And, we're...
Oprah's book?
No, Donald, Art of the Deal.
Art of the Deal?
I was making a joke, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Patriots probably did. That's why their draft was terrible. But, they took...
Now, I saw worse grades for some other teams.
I think there were a lot. There were, like... See, the draft was interesting this year because I don't think there were a lot of, like, mid-drafts. It was, like, either teams almost... I would say a fair majority of the league hit home runs in their draft. Like, a lot of the teams filled the positions that they needed to fill, and they took solid guys. Like, I don't feel, except the Patriots. I don't felt, and the Cowboys. Those were probably the two worst drafts.
The Cowboys were the ones who I saw get worse grades.
I felt like a lot of teams didn't reach at times,
mm-hmm.
and I felt like there weren't also many reaches like that you could have. I mean, we got Khalil Shakir in the 5th round. So, the talent
who we talked about pretty intensely.
We did. But you had
Shakir's a really good player.
You had 6 consecutive trades in the first round?
At one point there was, yeah.
Like that whole from like the entire teams, just all the teams just traded out and traded with each other and like
just swapping in between, in and out.
And I did find it interesting is I feel like teams now are starting to value draft picks less, and I think we have to attest that to the Rams.
Yeah.
Because the Rams don't care. They had like 3 picks, and they were perfectly content not getting more or not trading less. They were like, we're going to use our picks, and that's it.
Well, the Patriots used to be like that. They were like, whatever picks we have, we'll use. But actually, they weren't. They were always like, we'll trade down, weren't they? And get more picks and get more picks, and then we'll draft however many people we get. And then they're like, we're more likely to hit.
Yeah.
The more people we draft.
Right.
So,
but I
guess I'm wrong about the Patriots, but you're right. I think the Rams did make it a little different.
Because I mean, when you look at the trades
of
I felt like there wasn't enough wealth sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's happening is teams are getting different valuations for picks. And so you're seeing some teams jump on trades
Mm-hmm.
because it's not the same valuation for team A that it is for team B.
Right.
You
Because
know?
I mean, you look at our trade. Like, yeah, we only moved 2 picks up, but then like we also gave up a 4th
Right.
to move those 2 picks up.
Right. And then we look at our draft and we say, did we lose anything by giving that 4th up?
Right. And not even that. It's like I feel like when even though it is 2 picks up, you're still teams would still have to give a lot away to even do that.
Right.
And like I felt like in this draft across really all the rounds, you didn't have this sense that teams were like, I need to stay here and take my guy.
Right. I agree with that. Definitely. I think that you make a lot of sense. You know, it,
Yeah. There you go.
kind of. So it is May 4th. And you know what that means?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
And also with you. Jedi is like a religion, right? Not for us, I'm saying. I'm saying in the realm of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi is like a religion. By the way, folks, CJ is probably not joining us today. So it may be just me and Noah. If CJ can join, he's more than welcome, of course. He's just got some babysitting to do because his girlfriend is not around. That's
she's working.
Wrong. She's working. Yes. So that's why you're just seeing me and Noah. And so yeah.
So the draft. Let's get back to the draft.
Let's get back to the draft. What do you think of the draft picks?
Well, I mean, we talked about if do you mean for the Bills or everybody?
For the Bills.
For the Bills? Okay.
Let's go Bills first.
Yeah. I like them.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a bad pick, a bad, not somebody that they didn't need. I'm still not completely sold on Bernard. But
we feel differently.
If he actually is Milano reincarnate, then fine. But
I don't think he's Milano reincarnate per se. But I think, what we can find with Bernard is Milano reincarnate, maybe.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm starting to realize about what this defense is going to be this year. Almost every single position except middle linebacker, right outside linebacker, and the 2 safety positions are all going to be, and until Trey comes back, are all going to be by committee. Because there's going to be at least 10 D linemen, so they're going to rotate them in both those guys, and a lot of those guys can play D end, a lot of those guys can play inside, a lot of those guys can play
multiple positions.
Right. So you're going to have basically that entire D line by committee. You're going to have CB1 by committee.
Yep.
Until Trey gets back, you're going to have CB2 by committee as well, because that's just the way it's going to go.
Sure.
And then you're going to have
maybe
left outside linebacker, unless one of them is amazing. I think that's also going to be by committee too.
Well, it depends on what kind of defense they play, right? I mean, last year they played a lot of 4-2-5 with that's only 2 linebackers. So you're saying Edmonds and Milano, not you're saying, I'm saying Edmonds and Milano would be the only ones on the field. So that makes things a lot easier. And then, the Bills kind of did a lot of what we talked about.
Oh, and then there's Von Miller. We forget about Von Miller.
Who?
That guy that they almost got in the draft.
Yeah, but so
this is going to be a tough roster for guys that aren't obvious choices to make. And it's great.
To make the roster, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think your last 2 picks at least probably aren't going to make it to 6th and 7th.
I think this might be the end of the road for Zach Moss.
It could be. It depends on how they plan to use people. It could be the end for Tywan Jones,
Yeah.
But he's a gunner.
That's the other issue. Is
more people I think they might cut Matakevich because he's more of an inside special teamer,
and that's replaceable.
Yes and no, though. If you have a guy who fills the gap where the returner wants to go, and he knows where that gap is going to be because he's really good at it, right? You probably want to keep him around.
Yeah,
I would think, which is maybe why they haven't cut him. There's also the salary cap.
Well,
cut date for veterans of June 1st, and they may cut him then. I think that'll be another big day, to see what happens.
Well, Bean did say that they still need to do some cap reconfiguration.
Yep.
Because they want to have some space. Well, they want to do a few more things, is what he said first. And then he said they want to add a few more things. And then he said that they also want to be able to have cap space going into the year, like at least a couple million to just play with. That's what he said. So
that's fair. A lot of people don't like the Luke Tenuta pick, the 6th round pick. They say he's small, he's not strong, short arms, small hands, small wingspan.
Yeah.
But he's also 6'7" or something, and they're talking about playing him at tackle, which I think a lot of people are upset with because they feel like the Bills need more guards inside, which I'm not entirely on board with. I think you need a backup center. And that may be Bates, but I think you need to establish that backup center. But there's still time. People always act like after the draft, the regular season starting tomorrow, but
because we want it to start.
It's because we want it to start tomorrow, but we are definitely much further away than the draft starting tomorrow. The draft starting a year, a year, 53 weeks from now. So let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Kaiir Elam. You were talking about rotating players. Not entirely sure that they're going to do that with Elam. I think they're just going to throw him to the fire and maybe rotate the other side.
No, because they talked about him having to earn his spot, so he has to go into camp and compete with Dane Jackson, which I don't.
Okay, but let's assume Trey's not there for the beginning.
Right.
Okay, so he's not really competing with Dane Jackson yet. If Trey isn't there, because that's your top 2 corners.
Yeah.
Right.
But I still think he needs to show. He still will need to show to them that he belongs either to be 1 and 2 with Dane Jackson and Tehran, or like he needs to show that he belongs in that group, or he's not going to be in it. They'll do something else, and I truly believe that.
I think they
I don't think they won't play him, obviously, but I don't think they'll trust him as much. I think we'll see him. I think they're starting to learn, and it might become a bad thing, that they have to start keeping their draft picks on more of a leash, because you look at what happened with Dane Jackson when they put him in for too long. The first couple times he played, I felt and it was he would get burned, and then they would be like, oh, okay,
let's reel you back in.
Yep, we're gonna sit you down. We're gonna put in Saran.
You wonder if that's on purpose. it's a Justin Fields kind of thing. Oh, the game seems slow, right?
Yeah.
And then you put him out there under fire, let him get burned, let him get humbled, right? That's a big word the Bills use all the time.
Yeah, that's a good
is being humbled, and then you say, see, you have a lot of work to do, son.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Son. And so that's kind of the way that I see them maybe doing it, is putting them in places where they can get burned without it really affecting the game.
Yeah.
Maybe. So the one thing we know from Elam, right, he's everything the Bills want right now in a corner.
It's what they need, really. I mean, they don't.
Yeah,
I mean, Tehran's great, but like the problem with that is like if you move Tehran, like I feel like Tehran could go to another team and be a cornerback one. Like he could be a cornerback one.
An outside cornerback.
I think he could be. But the problem for the Bills is he's so good in the slot and playing that nickel corner and beating the guys up and
linebacker 3 almost. He's both.
Yeah, because he bulked up and he got big and he knows how to use his body now, and he's just so good at that position where it's like you don't want to pull him out of that. So now you have to figure out everything else. You have to figure out everybody that's going to complement them, and they don't have a guy like Elam, in my opinion. I think the closest is Tehran. But again, they went and got Elam because they don't want to take Tehran out of that spot.
Right. So I completely agree with that. Yeah, definitely. So I think with Elam, like you said, I was surprised though. I was actually surprised that they went with the need.
Mm-hmm.
They said he was the last first round grade on their board,
mm-hmm.
which is why they traded up to get him. They traded to pick 23.
Kansas City got them scared when they took McDuffie at 21 because they were afraid, oh, here comes the run on corners now.
Right.
So yeah, they went up to the Cardinals pick at 23.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're just going to take him.
Yeah. So another interesting piece to that is, like I said, the rest of the draft. Let's talk about Bernard for a second.
Okay.
Just in the sense that you don't believe in him as much as I do.
It's not that I don't believe in him necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, it's always trust the process when we come to the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to go back to Elam and explain why that was a need, though, really quick. He's a big physical corner like Tehran is. So, like, if you didn't get that comparison or anything like that, he plays extremely well in man-to-man and struggles in zone concepts, which is like the opposite of all the corners that the Bills have, where they all struggle in man-to-man and are fantastic in zone. Also,
and the Bills played 60% zone and 40% man last year, which was the highest ratio of man coverage that they've done under McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
So the 60-40 split actually means a lot, and you need those guys who are
you need it to be closer to 50-50 because then you're gonna have teams that are gonna be like, okay, we can throw underneath,
right? And it allows them, drafting Elam, who is a man coverage guy, allows them to mix up defenses even more.
Yeah, and the fact that he's physical, I mean, he can be on like a guy, like a top wide receiver. He can be on a wide receiver 1 and just beat him up all game.
Mm-hmm.
Because he'll have the speed to stay up with him, but the guy is 6'1" or 6'2", so he'll have the length, and he also has the physicalness.
The biggest hands of any corner in the draft.
Yeah, he knows how to use his hands. He knows how to put his hands in the right place to knock the ball away or to like just annoy you.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say the coolest thing was him walking into the draft interview with the notebook
Yes.
that he had, and he was like, "Yeah, this is a notebook I had in college." He's like, "I wrote every defense we played, what went wrong when we lost, what I could do better in each game," and he handed
McDermott was
it
sitting there
like
like a
I
kid in
can't.
a candy store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So he fits because they don't have anybody like him. That isn't Teron Johnson, and you're like we were saying, you're not going to take Teron out of that spot,
and I think he's faster than Johnson.
and he's faster than Teron anyway.
You know, much faster.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So, what did he run? A 4.39 or something like that?
Yeah.
So
he was one of the top corners.
He was. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't the man, but
yeah. Well, he wasn't McDuffie, but
who is
exactly.
So
Bernard, yes, just makes me nervous. He is undersized for his position. He's like 6 foot, 6'1". He's
only 220, 225 as well.
But he's also and generally what comes with that is speed. And he has straight ahead speed. He has like great acceleration, great straight ahead speed, but him getting an angle or getting to the sidelines is difficult for him. He's a little bit slower doing that, getting side to side.
So explain this to me, right? He played at Baylor, Big 12.
Yeah.
Right? 983 career snaps against him. No receptions.
Yeah, okay.
In a passing conference, right?
Yeah.
Where you have your Oklahomas and your other schools, Oklahoma State with the air raid and Oklahoma with the quick,
Yeah, if he can, I'm not saying he's going to be terrible. Like I don't know. It's like it's more. It just worries me. The expectations to me that come with him being drafted in that spot. Like I'm expecting him to start, and I don't know if he's gonna.
He's not going to start this year,
right?
I will say that.
And so, my thought is like I get getting your guy and doing all that. Why are you taking him in third round?
I'll tell you this. That goes back to what I was talking about last week, where that the Bills draft for the future, right? And that they have a tendency to draft for guys on 1-year contracts and that kind of thing. This is a little different because he doesn't seem like he can play middle linebacker unless they ask him to bulk up a lot.
And he somehow gets a growth spurt.
Well, there have been tons of middle. London Fletcher was 5'11".
I know. But
okay.
Still.
So, I mean, and he played with the Bills and the Rams and won Super Bowls and, is borderline Hall of Fame kind of player and that kind of thing. So, but I think with Bernard that it's not about replacing Edmonds, it's about replacing Milano. And I think we won't see Milano here next year because he has like a $9 million salary and they can use that money to allocate towards signing Edmonds, towards signing Knox. I mean, there's really 4 main guys, right? Edmonds, Knox, Poyer, and help me out. Singletary.
Yeah.
Who are the guys out there who will be free agents who make a significant impact on the team right now.
Yeah.
So we kind of agree that Poyer is probably gone.
I would think. Yeah. I feel like they would have offered him a contract by now.
Or they're waiting for June 1st.
Or they're waiting. Yeah.
Or they'll do it in season. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah. That's true.
But for now, we can assume that Poyer's probably gone. Hyde will probably be gone the year after.
Or whenever his contract's up. Yeah.
Or whenever his contract.
Yeah, it's either
his contract is up the year after. It is.
Okay.
Poyer at the end of this season, Hyde at the end of the next season. So we'll probably have 2 new safeties, which is why I was really in on Hamilton.
Yeah.
And
But
really
maybe Benford
wanted.
will suck at cornerback and be really good at safety, and then DeMar Hamlin will explode, and we'll be set.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about Benford.
From
Is
Villanova.
from Villanova.
Villanova.
Um, and I think that's a really good point about Benford. Is he played cornerback at Villanova, a Division two, or Division three, Division two
FCS,
school,
yes.
FCS school. And oh, come on, we broke the rule last week pretty heavily. But yeah, so he has to learn to play. He has to learn the position. You know, he's projected as a safety in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. I think he ran a 4.53, which is pretty good. I mean, you can be a corner and run a 4.53 40, but you know, it's not blazing speed. That's not the kind of speed where you can cover everyone. That's
Right.
Taron Johnson's speed, where you really need to play the slot and be physical. And I mean, he can play the slot and be physical.
Yeah.
But
we
have Taron. We don't need a third one because we have Taron and Saron Neal.
Yeah.
And you know,
right. So, I mean, they're gonna try him at corner. They're gonna start him there, but I have a feeling he'll eventually.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. I mean, though the Bills have a tendency not to lie or smokescreen, and that's been an interesting thing about being in McDermott lately, is how straightforward they've been.
Well, he did say after they got Elam, he was like, "We don't do smoke screens. We don't know where we don't know where the Hall report
the Brees Hall.
From.
Yeah, that the Bills were interested in.
Yeah, he was like, I look at the local media. He's like, you guys all got it right. He's like, most of you said Elam. He's like, good job. He's like, I look at the national media. Everybody's saying Brees Hall. I was like, what? That didn't come from us.
Yeah. So they're comfortable with Singletary,
which is fine.
And James Cook.
Yeah. Which if James Cook can be the pass catching, picking up the blitz,
71 receptions.
Yeah.
In his college career.
Yeah. I'm saying if
no. I'm just saying that's great.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, the Bills, again, it's another thing the Bills don't have.
Right.
And you get James Cook, you get Shakir in the 5th round.
Right.
Who I'm not going to stop talking about unless he sucks. But
he's not going to suck.
He's not going to suck. No, he's not.
No. I would not be shocked.
I mean, the guy can play wide receiver and running back.
I mean, they call him mini.
I mean, if he can be Debo,
mini Debo.
If he can be a Walmart store brand Debo, that's fine. Great. Yep. You're bringing more to the table than McKenzie.
And you could see McKenzie getting cut from this.
I don't think so this year. Unless like I think Shakir would have to have like this fantastic camp. Josh Allen would have to be like,
I love
oh
him.
My God, this is my dude. Like,
but he's already got dudes in Davis. He's got dudes. I mean, you never see Allen and McKenzie together, right? You see Allen always with Davis now,
and Knox
Knox, right?
And Diggs, yeah.
Well, Diggs doesn't usually seem to be with him. It's just that they have a connection on the field.
Well, they train together. Like when they all go down to Florida, Diggs is normally there.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay.
But McKenzie does also have to run his barbecue store.
Right.
Restaurant. So.
In Florida. It's not in Buffalo.
Yeah.
He should open one in Buffalo.
I think he probably, yeah,
he should.
But
I mean, people love him to death.
Well, it's apparently like super good too.
Right.
Like it's like
he knows how
he won stuff, like won awards and things. I don't think McKenzie will get cut just because I don't know what the plan is for Crowder. I don't know, because here's my thought, right? is they might have just brought Crowder in to be like, you're gonna play.
To humble.
No, that you're gonna play 200 snaps, mostly in the slot,
He's gonna play the slot.
and 90% of the time you will be on punt and kick returns. And then they told Isaiah, you're done doing that. You're gonna be a wide receiver.
Well, that would be different.
And I could envision that.
I mean, Crowder is a good returner.
Yeah.
And
I could see Crowder.
He was top 5 in the league, I think, in returns last year. Or 2 years ago. I don't remember.
I think we're also going to see a lot more 5 wide. Really putting Josh alone back there, giving him the option to either take the lane to run or chuck that thing 80 yards down the field with his arms that are bigger than my head.
Kyle Bryant with the Josh Allen shirt. But I think that we can probably expect Cook, though, to be one of those 5 wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you do have a lot of options. You said.
That's the thing.
You could put Shakir in the backfield. You could
you could do a pistol with Shakir, Singletary, and Cook. You could do, you could put Shakir in the backfield and Cook out wide. You could put Shakir out wide. Either it depends on what you're trying to look for. If you're trying to look for, the sure-handed guy, maybe you go, that's, McKenzie's there, or, Cook is in there to catch it,
Yep.
But if you're looking for blazing fast speed and you're trying to get that guy, I think that Shakir, Crowder, McKenzie, they have a lot of options. I mean, this offense, we said this last year, we hyped up this team, and I feel like we got punched in the mouth a little bit.
At the end of the season, or
no, at the beginning. I remember we walked into this season.
Pittsburgh. You mean by Pittsburgh? And
no, I'm saying us as people.
As human beings?
As human beings, yes. We hyped up this team. I remember, we all sat here, we all had different records. You were a little bit more, you were 11-6, and I was, I think, 13-3 or 12-4 or something. But, we sat there and we said, though, they're going to kill teams.
Yeah.
Because we saw that 2 years ago. We saw that they could kill teams. They could just throw the ball down. Yes. But then, but we walked into there last year saying all this stuff, saying, oh my God, this offense is going to be lights out, defense, whatever. But offense, and it was the complete opposite. But we also, I think, got punched in the mouth a little bit because the offense didn't get it going until Tampa Bay, which was 13 weeks into the season. That, I don't want to fall trap to it again. That's not going to happen this year.
Let's hope not.
I don't. Here's the thing. They have more weapons than last year. This offense is going to be deadly. You're going to have a pass catcher in every single option, in every single option possible. And, it should be, the trust with Josh also should be there more than ever before. I mean, after the Kansas City game, how can you not say, okay, we're giving you the keys?
You can't. I mean,
you know what I mean? So, I feel like
you have to look at Josh and just say, we have one of the 3 best players in the league. Period. Players. Out of everybody.
And, I also want to bring up something that you said, was the players bought into the hype.
Yeah.
The players were like, yeah, we're one of the best.
Yeah.
I'm Josh Allen. I'm Stephon Diggs.
Right.
You don't see that this year.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is like, we're here to work. We're here to get a Super Bowl.
Right.
Every single, even the draft picks.
Right.
Were like, I'm elated to have been drafted at Buffalo. The only place I thought of was Buffalo. And the only person I ever want to play with is Josh Allen.
Right.
And I want to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
And I am here to work. And as Kaiir Elam said, put the playbook on the plane.
Which was fantastic.
Draft pick says that?
Kaiir
in the first 30 seconds of the phone call.
Right. With the coach.
Yeah.
He talks to the owner, says thank you.
And then McDermott gets on the phone. First thing he says to him is, put the playbook on the plane, coach.
Yeah. McDermott gets all giddy again. and is as giddy as McDermott can get.
But it's not that I'm saying, I felt like last year we were hopeful. I'm expecting this. I'm expecting them to kill teams on both sides of the ball.
to be the hardest working team in football,
Yeah, honestly.
but with immense talent.
Yes.
And when you do that, you win it all.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Let's talk about
let's not say it though. But so, all right. I keep cutting you off. You go. What do you got for us?
What'd you think of the draft? So here's the draft. We're looking at it. We're showing people.
Why don't we talk about the other teams in our division now? We hyped us up.
Okay.
We talked about our draft.
Let's start with the team who did worst.
Yeah. New England. Oh dear Lord. What have you done?
Me?
No.
Oh.
I just mean them.
Come on. Let's bring up New England.
All right.
So they don't move. They don't trade. They don't make trades. They don't do anything.
Except to trade up to get. Or did they trade up to get him? Cole Strange?
No.
No. Okay. No.
No.
That was already via Casey.
Yeah, that was theirs. So Cole Strange is considered. He was considered like a 4th round prospect. Other teams were outwardly making fun of the Patriots for taking him. The Rams especially.
I had him ranked the 4th round.
Right. That's
man. I thought we would get him.
Right. Because the Rams didn't have a pick until 104.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
4th round. Yeah.
Yeah. So McVay said, "Oh, we were thinking about him at 104, and
Cole Strange, yeah.
I guess we don't." So Cole Strange, he's a guard. The Patriots needed a guard.
He's undersized. It's the same stuff about Tentua, but he's small too.
Yeah,
he's not that tall. So.
Yeah. So it's a very strange pick. So then they took Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor.
Which I actually do like that pick.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a New England pick, but it also feels a little bit like N'Keal Harry to me.
Yeah.
He's a little faster, but it feels like a reach, like a stretch.
And there are also better options.
Yes.
Like Khalil Shakir.
Yes. Who got, in the sense of Shakir got taken 2 rounds later, especially.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, 3. 5th. Because Thornton was taken in the 2nd. So.
Right. Okay. Yes, 5th. I keep thinking he was the 4th.
Well, they were, Bean said, and this was the interesting thing. Bean said if they did not do the trade for Elam, they were going to take him in the 4th. So he says that the one thing he does is he'll always look at who gets taken.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they made that jump into the 5th again,
mm-hmm.
he was like, okay, well, he made it out of the 4th, so we got to go get him now. Like he was basically like, he's going to go.
Yeah.
So he's like, if he's not going to make it out of the 4th.
And that's what the Bills do. They go and get their guy.
Yeah, and he was saying that he looks at the talent around, like what, where he would have been drafted if he still had the pick. Because he's like, oh, what did that team take there?
Mm-hmm.
And then he weighs it and he was like, oh, yeah, it's a good trade. Or, oh, well, I could have gotten him there with my pick. Dang, but.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't care. So.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care about the grades and value. Mm-hmm. In the same sense, I think that a lot of other teams do. I do think that, like we were talking about earlier, that there is different values that teams are seeing, and that's why we're seeing more trades and more movement. I also think, to go back to that, I also think the other reason is because of 6-year seniors because of COVID.
Yeah.
So Velus Jones, for example, was in this draft. He would have been in last year's draft, and he wouldn't have been allowed in this year's draft. Velus Jones is a wide receiver from Tennessee who's 25 years old. He's older than like 25 other receivers.
He went to Tennessee. He went to the Titans, and he's older than A.J. Brown.
Right.
Who got traded away from there to the Eagles.
Right. But yeah, he's older than like just 25 other receivers.
Yeah.
In the league, think about this: Terrell Edmonds,
Right. Tremaine.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, that's his brother.
There's too many Edmonds. Speaking of, well, okay, I won't get too far off track, but Edmonds just turned 24.
Yeah.
Just turned 24.
Right. Like,
and has been in the league for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. And now the Titans are drafting Velus Jones,
who's 25.
Who's 25 years old,
year.
And this will be his rookie season.
Yeah,
and that's because of COVID. And what the NCAA allowed was for some players to extend to an extra season, or they allowed players to make that decision. So last year's draft was kind of weak. This year's draft was full of old guys, and next year's draft will probably be full of old guys too. And then it should even back out.
And then, well, I think, so next year we'll have the last round, and then after that in 2024,
right,
I think we'll see a big drop off in terms of, we'll probably go back to super boring draft. Honestly, we'll have like 1 year of a super boring draft, because I have a feeling the
next year I will say this: next year will be super exciting.
Yeah,
because there's 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
in the top right now.
If 5 all come out,
5 quarterbacks ranked in the top 7.
Yeah, so
in the top 7.
Right. Then, so we'll probably have
we'll have a quarterback draft,
and then we'll go to bad, and then it'll be like a normal draft from there.
Yeah. So back to the Patriots. Marcus Jones was probably their strongest pick. In my opinion, kick returner.
Yeah. I would also put Pierre Strong up there too. That he's wicked fast.
I just whatever. That's how I feel about that pick. It just feels like such a Patriots pick. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we're gonna take Bailey Zapp doesn't feel like a Patriots pick to you because he's literally
Zappy.
Whatever. He's literally Brian Hoyer, like 2.0.
Hilltoppers.
He's a career backup.
Yes. That who they chose to take in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So
Jack Jones, whatever.
Yeah, Jack.
Kevin Harris. I mean, you're taking 2 running backs in a room where you have Damian Harris, James White, Stevenson, who you took last year.
Did Bolden resign?
I think Bolden, yeah. So like whatever.
Right. They have all these veteran running backs plus their workhorse.
Mm-hmm.
They already have that.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you getting all these other guys for? Like
options? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Sam. I
don't even know about Sam Roberts so everyone says that they had a terrible draft, and they did. So that's the Patriots draft. The other team who had a terrible draft was who were we talking about?
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys. But we're staying in the division, and we're going to look at Miami.
Draft wasn't bad.
They only had 4 picks.
Yeah.
So,
but okay, their best pick was Tyndall, obviously.
Skylar Thompson isn't terrible for them.
And getting him in the 7th round, whatever.
Right.
At 247. That's like what, 10 picks from the end 10 or something?
Picks, yeah. 260 or 262 or something was the last pick.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's Miami. Channing Tindall is a linebacker from Georgia.
I might have rather had Tindall instead of Bernard.
The difference is Bernard has proven. Bernard was their defensive captain. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not.
He was the defensive captain at Baylor for the last 2 seasons, and then but the Tindall is almost the same size as Bernard. The thing about Tindall was he doesn't have the productivity that Bernard has. And sometimes you just, when you get into those middle rounds, you take the guy who has proof.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's what the Bills did when it came to drafting. I don't remember what number pick either. So I don't know if Tyndall was gone or not.
No, Tyndall wasn't gone. I think we
Okay.
were like in the 90s for
Okay.
our third round pick.
Oh,
so
89. 89.
Yeah.
I remember that now from doing all the mock drafts that weren't even close, by the way.
But Tyndall, yeah. So going back to Miami, Tyndall was a good pick for them.
yes,
Phil's,
he's just unproven.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, was he was playing behind 3 other linebackers who all got drafted.
Yeah.
Right. So he was the 4th linebacker out of Georgia to get drafted.
Yeah.
Because the other 3 starters also got drafted.
Yeah.
So he's going to be very interesting to watch, in my opinion, and see how he ends up, because he probably has this huge ceiling because he went to Georgia. I mean, and was able to stay there.
Defense. I mean,
well, the Georgia defense was
fantastic. So.
Right.
But I liked Akuzama.
Azukanama.
Yeah. Out of Texas Tech. He's
okay.
Yeah.
4th round.
Yeah, it's not better than Khalil Shakir. So
that's our threshold.
That's yep.
So that was Miami, and then there's the Jets, who had pretty much
one of the best drafts. Best draft.
Most people think that the Jets and Baltimore had the best drafts.
Yeah.
Baltimore took everyone I wanted the Bills to take.
I feel like that's generally how it goes with you in Baltimore.
Me in Baltimore. I should be a Ravens. I should be a Ravens fan.
Yeah.
They just take.
See, but here's the reason why they had a good draft is they didn't have a pick past the 4th round.
The Jets.
Yeah.
And they were loaded. They had 2 firsts, 3 firsts.
Right. So you got
a second, a third, and 2 fourths.
Arguably the best corner in the draft.
Well, one of the top
1A and
2
1B.
corners.
Yeah. I mean, you got 1B or 1A to Stingley, basically. So you got either the Jack Eichel or the Connor McDavid here. Hopefully the Jack Eichel.
That's if you're the Jets, it's hopefully for us, you hope it's Jack Eichel. If you're the Jets, you hope it's McDavid, right?
You got the better Ohio State.
You got the best wide receiver. That's consensus across the board.
Yeah, and that's definitely the better
in a massive wide receiver crop.
Yeah. I mean, he's just so good, and they didn't take Olav there and be dumb. So,
speaking of dumb, that was a terrible pick.
That was
11th overall to the Saints.
Good job, guys.
Yeah,
they got scared. That's what I think. Happened there, but
they traded in to do that.
Yeah. I that's what I was saying. The draft was wild.
It was. I mean, when the
Teams
Saints
just wanted to do what they wanted to do.
When the Saints traded in, you're like, oh, they're going to do something amazing. And then
you thought that was going to be the first quarterback off the board.
Right.
Nope. It was Kenny Pickett to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh was the first quarterback off the board. He just has to walk across the hall now. How
I don't know. We're gonna hear that. Can he open the door with his little tiny baby hands?
We're gonna hear that for the rest of our lives watching Pittsburgh games.
And I would sit there at my pit locker room and just be like, "Bro,
I want to be on the other side.
I want to play there.
Like it would be so cool
with my tiny baby hands.
With my tiny baby hands. And my long hair.
God, I should have taken Malik Willis. Anyway, I mean, and then you got Jermaine Johnson, who skyrocketed.
Value pick.
Yeah.
Huge value.
Getting him at 26th. I mean, he shouldn't. He
should have been in the top 15.
Yeah. He fell. Well, he was another guy who fell because of production.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the tape. He missed out on COVID. When they played that schedule, it was only against teams in their division.
Right.
So you're playing 2 good teams and crap. Also, you were on Florida State.
Right.
So they were not the best,
to put it lightly.
But yes, so he played against top talent last year and he had that. So that's why he fell to 26, but he's so good. Yep. He was a transfer from Georgia.
Mm-hmm. He's a rocker.
Yeah, he originally went to Georgia, just didn't get the playing time. Left, went to Florida State, got all the playing time last year.
Right.
So he's going to be good. Breece Hall,
he was projected to the Bills at 25 by all the Nationals. And this gives the Jets a workhorse.
Right. This is their running back now.
Right.
They have a running back.
Right.
That's what this means.
He's going to be good.
Could-
We know that.
Yeah.
We have to accept that.
Yeah, he's going to be. I mean, all those
First
guys
running back off the board
from Hall up are probably going to be good in progress.
I think Ruckert's going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, Ruckert was one of the first tight ends off the board.
He did not go to Cincinnati. He went to Ohio State.
He went to Ohio State. Yeah, whatever.
Shout out Bearcats.
I stole this from a website, so I didn't type it up or anything.
Okay.
Well, you think I'm going to spend that much time doing that? You know,
No, you did. You did.
Man's gonna work. Oh, I didn't steal this from a website.
You did it all yourself.
While
watching the draft,
based on memory. Later.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think Rucker is 75-25, and I think the rest of them are
nailed it.
They're gonna be starters. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be good for the
Who
Jets.
do they have at tight end? Well, they signed Uzomah, right?
It's not that they don't have anybody. It's tight end. It's more that I don't know if Rucker is gonna be that good pass catching.
Yeah, which is okay.
Which will work for them as long as they have Uzomah.
Right.
And then when they don't have Uzomah anymore,
because he gets hurt in game 6.
Right.
You're
stuck with Rucker. And it's not like Rucker. I mean, Rucker doesn't. I don't know. It's his route running. His hands. That worries me.
But we don't know, right?
Well, yeah.
Because
we don't know about any of these guys.
As we said, he went to Ohio State. He went to Ohio State, where Garrett Wilson went, where Chris Olave went.
And he was a big part of their offense last year. I'm just saying. I mean,
he didn't get the amount of looks he would have gotten.
Yeah, if he went
at another school.
Else. Yeah.
You know, it's just
he went to like Michigan.
Right, where there weren't as many great receivers.
Yeah.
You know, Wisconsin would have been a good spot for him.
Why are we hyping up Wisconsin?
Because they have good tight ends.
Oh.
Iowa.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking of places where he should have gone. That's all. Other Big Ten schools.
But yeah, I mean, I think Ruckert will be good. I think it will I just think he has to. I mean, we don't know how good he is.
6'6".
Yeah, I think he will be good. It's just that we don't have the tape and we don't have the stuff to see if he actually is that bad at route running or he just wasn't used.
Right.
So Max Mitchell, solid again. I mean, you're filling a spot.
Yeah, I mean, he may start right away. Opposite what's his face? Becton. Yeah.
As long as Becton comes back.
Becton will be back. And then Clemens will be part of their rotation.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, the Jets did really well.
Yeah. But here's the caveat to all that though. Is you can draft well. You can take all the best players you want. You do not get any credit until you put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Just like no one gave credit to the Bills until we put it together. No other team in the league anymore will get credit for drafting well until they put it together.
Yeah.
And so as much as we like what the Jets did, they, got good guys. They filled holes. They did this, that, and the other thing. They still have to show that they're a threat. And until that point, they aren't because they won 5 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
So do better than that and we can talk.
Yeah. I mean, Salah still has a lot to prove about his offense.
Yeah.
Right. And that kind of thing.
And Zach Wilson still has a lot to prove about himself.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. Here's the Ravens draft.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Kyle Hamilton.
Best player in the draft.
Best player in the draft.
And I will
fell
champion
to 14.
That.
Which is insane. Bills should have traded up.
And didn't I say he would go in the top 15? And you said McDuffie wouldn't last past 21.
Something like that. I don't know. I lost my bets. So that's just how things go. I actually said 12 for McDuffie.
Oh.
So I was way off.
You were way off.
Yeah. But Hamilton, Yeah, I did say 15 for Hamilton. I did say that. I remember that because I was saying if he gets to 15, the Bills should trade up.
Yeah.
And he was taking a 14. And when I saw the Ravens there, I went, they're going to take him.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, they're going to take him. Bills aren't going to do this.
Yeah, I mean they signed Marcus Williams in the off season. They got rid of Chuck Clark. They got rid of Earl Thomas, and
Right.
they didn't have anybody next to Marcus Williams that was remotely good.
Right.
So you get Kyle Hamilton, and now there you go. You have
have
a
a
very
stacked
scary
defensive backfield.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 there across the
with
board.
Ramsey and Humphrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Linderbaum was a need.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's good. He's really good.
He's
gonna be.
We talked about him last week. He was the best center in the draft. He's a center only.
Yeah.
And he fills a need for that. And Ojabo will be out for the season. But they can afford to do that. And if he comes back to be 90% of the player that he was, it's a great pick.
Yeah.
Travis Jones.
I like that one a lot. I wanted the Bills to get him.
Well, I mean, look at the size of the next of Jones and Falele. Jones is 370.
Yeah, he's just gonna be the guy
a big
who's gonna
man,
sit there.
Who in the Ravens defense where they play three guys up front, he's just going to be the nose tackle who plays right on the center and is going to try and take up three guys. He weighs 370 pounds, and again comes out of UConn, as you can see, and just eats guys. He's like your Vince Wilfork or your Ted Washington, Sam Adams, those kind of guys who would just absorb a player, offensive lineman. Right after that, you have a 380-pound, offensive tackle, with when he was at Minnesota, they played him at running back in 4 different games.
Yeah,
they played him at running back, and it wasn't like a refrigerator Perry thing. It was like for multiple downs. And they played him at running back, and he also played tight end for them. So he is very agile. And it's not agile for 380 pounds. It's agile for an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They took 2 tight ends, two very highly touted tight ends.
Yeah, likely, man.
Kolar is right up there. Kolar has a background. His father, I think, was a coach, and may have been a player as well.
He's also from just Iowa. Wrong again. Spreadsheet.
Is it?
Yeah.
So he is from tight end U now?
Yeah. He went to Iowa.
Okay.
He's really good. He was a big
Stout
part of their offense
before the Bills took Punt God.
Yeah, that's good. They're gonna regret that.
Yeah.
That's their one mistake.
It is. Isaiah Likely was a great pick.
Yeah, he's super. He's a freak. He's like Knox, honestly.
Yeah. An inch or two shorter, I think. But the Bills did bring him in.
Yeah.
And looked at him very much. Looked at him as much as they had time to look at.
Armour Davis, we've kind of skipped over him, but he was solid for Alabama, and getting him in the 4th, that's huge.
Right. So
Williams out of Houston.
Yeah, anytime you can get an Alabama player,
yeah,
you're doing something. Alabama and Georgia, you're doing something right. So, and that was.
And then Batty
is a great running back.
Yeah.
Especially to get in the 6th round.
Yeah. I mean, he'll build, if he can be at least a solid role player for them, that's fine. Cause they have Lamar. So it's not like they need a guy. They're not the Jets. They don't need a guy. So if they can just keep bringing in.
What's his face coming back from injury?
Yeah.
And the other guy and the third guy that they have. as well.
But like that's their thing is they do running back by committee, so like it
Right.
doesn't really matter.
Right.
So like if Batty can be solid, for them as a rotational guy, then that's good. That's good value
Just
at this
another
at the
guy that
sixth
they
round.
can
Yeah.
sit in. I mean, they probably. I don't see a player who wouldn't make this roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean they
This was
drafted
another
for
team
need.
that had a gazillion picks, fourth round and higher though.
And this was also another team that had a lot of holes, and they really did well drafting and filling
to fill those holes. Yeah. Did they lose Mark Andrews?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Anyway, I was trying to figure out why they took 2 tight ends, but maybe he's
I don't think they have
here.
depth behind him.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Or maybe they just
because I think they lost.
Maybe they want to run more 2 tight end sets. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's still in the ring.
He's still there.
Yeah.
6'9".
All right.
Any other teams you want to look at?
No.
Unless
you do.
Not really.
Okay. Shall we move on?
We can move on.
Okay.
Let me get out of here.
The NBA playoffs, baby.
Playoffs? So we're not showing this anymore, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Playoff. What is that?
Jaylen Brown breaking Grayson Allen ankles last night. I thought you were gonna say it.
No,
I just sat here smiling.
No, I was
giving my thumbs up.
I was giving you the opportunity to to explain.
Yeah, that's Jaylen Brown breaking the worst player, Grayson Allen ankles last night against the Bucks when they won by what was it, 25, 20,
112-89, right?
Yeah.
So
math,
23.
That was close.
Yep.
Yeah. They basically, I think Milwaukee got as close as, what was it, 10, 11? And what was Giannis? He was
why are you?
He was like, what was Giannis in the first half? I think he was like
1 for 8.
1 for 8. Yep. But then he did come alive in the second half by doing that thing where he just grabs the balls and runs, and he just gets the foul.
Is Giannis?
Yeah.
No, but he's that good.
Yeah, whatever. Annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying when you're playing against him,
honestly,
but it's amazing to watch.
But I do want to talk about the referee, because the referee, it's not just bad in the Celtics series. It's bad across the board.
Yeah.
And as you and CJ can sit there and say, it's back to the 80s where they're all... No.
That's not what I said.
This is not good.
You were the one who asked.
I did ask, but I disagree with you both. I like it now. I like seeing the offense work. I like being able to
You asked us if this reminded us, reminded us of back then.
Yeah.
Our answers were yes, because it did. You didn't.
Yeah, but then you guys were like, oh, they beat each other up more, and
they did.
Yeah. Well,
they did. I mean, that was just how it was.
But you guys also both said. No, you guys both said that you liked it better.
Okay, we're going to look this up later.
I swear to God. All right. But anyway.
Because I definitely like the NBA better now.
Okay. Because, they need to start. There needs to be some sense of consistency from the regular season to the playoffs. And I get it that there's.
What aren't you seeing?
I'm going to keep using the Celtics, but this is not bias. I am talking about all of the NBA. Jason Tatum will drive, and he'll get... they were hacking the crap out of him. Bobby Portis was they were swinging at him. They're trying not, and they're not calling it. They're doing the same thing with Embiid. They're doing the same thing with Giannis until they don't and decide, oh, we want to give Milwaukee a chance. And
look at Golden State.
But that's the other problem and that's the other part of this, is I feel like the refs are going, it's our time. We're going to decide how this game goes. We're going to let the players play for as long as they can. And then at one point, we'll start calling fouls one way, bring the game a little closer, make it a little exciting, and then we'll let it go back again,
Well,
because that's
we
exactly
see
what
that in the
happened
NFL.
last night. That's exactly what happened last night in the Celtics game. Was Giannis would, in the second half, Giannis would start to get the foul calls.
Mhm.
Giannis was driving. Giannis was beating guys up. He would get the charges, or he would get the blocking fouls. He would get this, and they started setting into the line, and then all of a sudden he has 10 points.
Do you ever watch
15
Jalen
points,
Rose or
20
listen
points.
to Jalen Rose?
I mean, when he's on like the pregame stuff, but that's about it.
Okay, because during the halftime of the Golden State game, after Draymond got kicked out in Game 1,
That again, that was crap. That was not a flagrant 2. No. That was, see, it has to be excessive and unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was excessive because he grabbed him by the jersey and pulled him down. But it was not unnecessary because he all he did, he just let him fall himself. Like, he didn't viciously do it. He didn't do anything about it. He just let it happen, kind of thing. But yes,
Yep.
he caused it, and that was excessive. But go back to what you were saying about Jalen Rose. He was talking about the flagrant.
Rose was talking about the flagrant, and what he said was, he was saying basically that, yeah, thank you. He was saying basically that, the refs call based upon the player.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it's a star-driven league, and he said if that wasn't Draymond, it wouldn't have been a flagrant 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's based on reputation, it's based on all that. Now, the flagrant 2 from last night,
now that, yes,
that was unnecessary,
yeah,
and completely out of line.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, that was a non-basketball play to like the extreme. I mean,
Right.
You already had, see, that's the other thing that really is starting to bother me, is because the refs are calling the games that they are. They're letting them be more loose. They're letting them beat each other up more.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the foul called already.
Yeah.
The foul was called already, and
Mm-hmm.
he was in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pushed him.
He's a dirty player, though.
Yeah, okay. Jordan Poole? No, Gary Payton.
Oh, Payton.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the guy who got called for the 2.
Oh yeah, no,
for the flagrant.
Yeah, he is. Yes.
I want to keep saying Bane, but it's the other guy.
Was it? No, it's not Clarkson. He's on the Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The guy with the dreads that come down over his face, and it's really annoying.
It's not Ja. It's not Ja.
No. Ja's dreads don't come.
Yeah, no, I know.
Down.
Let me see. Brooks?
Yeah,
Brooks. Yeah, Brooks is dirty, right? But the other problem, but
Memphis was dirty all game.
Yes, but the refs were letting it freaking happen. The refs were letting them do it.
Mm-hmm.
If the refs, this is what I say,
and they were
all
able,
the time.
And they were able to even up the series,
right?
Because they didn't let Golden State play their game this time,
right? Because they were grabbing, they were hacking, and it wasn't getting called. So again, this is the refs, because like those things should be called. Like, as annoying as it would be to hear toot 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 every 30 seconds, if it's a foul, it's a foul.
Yep.
Like a lot of those shouldn't have been let go. And a lot of the fouls across the game, where like even the announcers are noticing fouls not being called, reach-ins not being called. Like,
yeah,
the simple stuff isn't being called, which is then leading to bigger things, which is why I think last night happened. And I think this has to go with the refereeing that's happening in the playoffs. They're letting them play too loose. They're letting them play super aggressive. So players are starting to think, what can I get away with?
Right.
And I'm not saying they're all thinking, what can I dirtily get away with? But like, maybe now you take a little bit more of that contact than you normally would.
But last night, right, Draymond gets punched in the face, basically, and leaves. No, he has to leave.
Yeah, but there was nothing.
No foul called, but he had to leave the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Great. So you lost Draymond for 2 games.
And there was no nothing, no foul, no nothing.
Right.
It's just I don't know. I don't know why why the NBA can never keep the consistency ever.
They just don't. The NBA can't do it. Woo, that was cool.
Trippy. But yeah. Why don't we in the next part we can just
What?
Oh, I thought you still.
Do you want me to bring that up?
No, I don't know. I don't know what you were thinking. If you were thinking about moving on to hockey or not.
Oh, I think I was sharing.
Okay.
I was sharing something, and I think people couldn't see us.
No, they could. We were fine. Your sharing though went away. I can't click it anymore. But we could just run through and
Okay.
see who predict who's gonna win.
NBA playoffs. Here we go. Suns, Mavericks.
Suns.
Definite?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 6.
Suns in 6?
Suns in 6.
Are you gonna annoy me with the next pick?
No.
Golden State.
Yeah.
Golden State, Memphis.
I'm going with Golden State in this one.
5?
Yeah.
So last night's win was their win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was because the way it was called by the refs.
Yeah.
I'm not
and that'll
gonna
get fixed.
Go.
That'll
Anyway.
get fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what we'll see. Is that
or just Golden State is going to come out and do what the Celtics did and run screens and make them run around and do all this stuff and then just find the open guy and shoot it, the 3, and kill them with 3s.
Well, you were talking about the Celtics ball movement last night. It was reminiscent of Golden State.
Clicking. Oh,
it's almost as good as Golden State's.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, these teams
they
are trying to emulate what Golden State can do and still can do, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Considering how long that they've had this going.
Yeah.
And the injuries to Clay and all this stuff and that kind of thing, I think is just with Clay back, they're just in a different spot, I think. I mean, you have Steph Curry now coming off the bench.
I mean, Poole, you got Wiggins. Wiggins is playing well. Poole's playing well.
Right.
They have legit center. I mean, Draymond is playing amazingly well, being point center, distributing, getting the rebounds. He's controlling the paint well for them yet. They're scary.
Yeah, they are.
And Memphis, and the way Memphis has to win is by punching them in the face. So,
which they did.
That tells you how that series is going to go.
Miami, Philly?
Yeah, Miami. In 4.
4?
In 4. They're going to win tonight, and they're going to win the next 2. Okay. Without Embiid, what does Philly have? Harden has shown before that he cannot do it alone.
That's what he's got. That's what they have. They made the decision.
Miami has
They made the decision to trade for Harden. It was a terrible decision.
They can't stop Bam.
That was a terrible trade.
Yeah.
Without
Embiid, they are nothing.
Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler.
They have Tyler Hero coming off the bench, winning 6th man of the year.
Yeah.
Like PJ Tucker. They have from the Bucks championship team last year.
Player. And the Sun played for the Suns the year before. And, he's one of those NBA role players who bounces around, but
coaches everybody up and plays really good defense.
Yeah.
That's just his
and hits the 3 from the corner, and we'll just wait there until you pass him the ball. And then if he's open,
Heaton
he'll take the shot.
Philly has no chance.
Okay. Okay. And is Embiid definitely out?
He's out indefinitely. So
okay. Doc Rivers' job in jeopardy? I think it's a jeopardy. Do you think he'll get fired?
No. But I think there will start to be rumblings.
There already have been.
I know, but I think it won't be like he'll be in the hot seat. but I think he won't get fired.
Okay.
Because I mean, they're going to sit there and be like, well, he didn't have Embiid, so,
Yeah.
Well,
that's true. He didn't have Simmons either. That was a terrible trade for both sides.
He never did.
I mean, one of the things that Stephen A. Smith said about the Nets was they should have never made that trade. They needed to take Durant, Harden, and Kyrie into a room and say, figure it out.
Because Harden was literally only upset because Kyrie was sitting there going, I'm not going to get vaccinated, so I'm not going to play in the games.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And it's like if they could have just worked it out. But then again, I think Harden is more stubborn than people think. So
yeah, I agree with that. People like the beard and think he's cool.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's a humongous jerk.
Anyway.
Selfish jerk.
Heat in 4.
And then the Bucks Celtics.
I do think the Celtics are going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, just you didn't have the defensive player of the year last night, and you beat them by 23. You beat the defending champs by 23.
Okay, but they got slaughtered in the first game.
Yes, they got slaughtered in the first game, and here's what I'll say about that is you just came off of a huge long break after beating the Nets 4-0 in an extremely emotional series where every single game was decided by 4 points or less.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to an emotional team like Boston and to a young team like Boston, that does a lot to them. And especially when you have the...
Who's young on Boston?
They're all like 24, 25.
Yeah, but they have tons of experience.
Well, yeah, they have tons of experience, but I'm saying...
Like, there's nobody there who I look at in Boston and say...
but they have never played in a series before where they've had to play Kyrie and Durant together while everybody is hating on Kyrie and everybody wants you to win that series. And everybody is saying, please, Jason Tatum, beat them down.
And he did.
Come on. And they did. And they did it. And they did it in 4 games. But I think that they came out flat. They had a long break. They had an emotional series, and they just came out flat.
So you don't think the Bucks can match up?
It's not that they can't match up. It's just I think the Celtics defense is too strong. They held them to 45 points in the first half last night.
Sure.
In the first half. And then
44
in the second.
Yeah.
Grant, when you didn't have the defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart, who is I still think he'll come back for the next game. He won't be 100%. Mm-hmm. So Grant Williams will have to step up again. And Grant Williams was playing like a man possessed. The guy was a brick wall.
He was hacking, yeah.
Giannis would try to drive, and he would just stand there and be like, no, you're not getting to the basket. Mm-hmm. Al Horford played the game of his life defensively. Like that was vintage.
Horford's a good defender.
That was like to be able to do. They shut down Giannis. Mm-hmm. Now the problem was, and
how many points did Giannis have?
I don't know, but he got a lot of that by just driving and getting to the basket.
He had like half their points, right?
Yeah, but they didn't. Okay. There's a difference between scoring all of your team's points and they still ended up losing by 23 versus being the versatile Giannis Antetokounmpo that we know.
Okay,
they did not let Giannis be comfortable. They made Giannis shoot threes. They made Giannis actually shoot jump shots. They made him take multiple free throws. They did not care. They would foul him. They did not care. They forced him to go to the foul line.
Well, he's been better this year at the
off of pick and rolls. They refused to move. They were giving it to the guard every single time. Mm-hmm. They were just they refused to move off of him. They never let Giannis get comfortable. They never let Giannis fully be able to do that thing where he grabs the ball, drives down the court, boom, makes the dunk, and everything is changed. The momentum's changed. He starts becoming a distributor. He starts grabbing the rebound.
So this series goes back to Milwaukee now.
Yeah.
Or goes to Milwaukee now.
I think this will go the distance.
Okay. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. Was where you were at as far as thinking how far this would go.
If here's what I'll say.
Celtics,
as it
you
stands,
think the Celtics will lose more games in this series? Not more games than the Bucks. because
Yes.
that means they wouldn't win.
Oh,
you've
I
already-
have a really good feeling that they're going to lose the next one. I
Mhm.
mean, Milwaukee's going to be at home. They're going to have the crowd behind them.
Mhm.
I have a feeling they're going to punch Boston back in the mouth, and that's what I envision this series being, is just them going back and forth.
Heavyweights.
But where I see it changing is Game 4 to Game 5, because I have a feeling that in Game 3 they're going to get slaughtered, or they're going to lose a heart. I think they're going to lose because it's just going to be too much.
Okay.
They just lost by 23, crowd behind them. Then they'll win in Game 4 and they'll win in Game 5, and then you'll go back to Milwaukee for a winner go home Game 6, which Milwaukee will win because it's winner go home.
Right.
Then you'll go back to Boston for Game 7 where they'll win, and that's how the series will end.
So you think the difference will be Game 4?
Yeah.
That they'll win on the road in
They'll
Game
win.
4.
Yeah.
Every other home game is a win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll because I have a feeling they're
So
gonna
Game
get punched
4
in the
will
mouth.
make up for losing Game 1.
Yeah.
And then
everything
else will be home wins.
They're gonna want to steal one.
That's fine.
They're gonna want to steal one from Milwaukee.
Well, they have to.
I know they have to, but I'm saying
because it's win or go home in Game 5 then.
Right. But I think but I do think that might be a possibility.
Here's the thing. Okay.
But even if they were down 3-1, I could see them winning.
Yeah.
And it's their defense. There's something about it. There's something. It's just I don't know.
It's very good.
It's tough. Yeah, Miami's currently up 51-38 on the Sixers.
On Philly.
Like, cool. James Harden can get 40 points, but you're no Embiid.
Yep. So, anything else you want to say? How far do you see Boston going?
The finals.
You think they'll beat the Heat?
Yeah, because I think they'll have learned.
That's going to be another tough series.
That's going to be a very tough series, and I have a feeling that if they
that's the two best defenses in the league.
Yeah,
basically.
that'll go the distance. I think that will go 7 games as well, and I think it'll be hard fought. But in the end, there's just something about the Celtics. Like the Heat are the team that everybody's expecting to win. That's the thing. They're expected to play this well. They're expected to do this well. They're the 1 seed. They were the best team in the Eastern Conference. They were one of the best teams in the NBA. Yeah, the Celtics are the 2 seed, but the only reason but
I was just going to say
hold on. The only reason they got that was because of a second half turnaround, and they've been on fire in the second half.
Okay.
Miami has been consistently good. So the Celtics are just constantly growing, The Heat are just consistently good. So you have, Boston's scrappy. This is a different.
So are the Heat.
Okay, but this is a different team than the one that faced them either last year or 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Brought back.
Boston has a great defense. The Heat have a great defense. It could be a defensive struggle, or both teams could just light it up because
I think it'll be defensive struggle. I think they'll just want to lock each other down.
It may be that.
Yeah.
It may be that both teams shoot 350 from the field.
Yeah.
And it's
playing
an ugly series.
Playing like John round 1.
Yeah. And it's just an ugly series. Or it may just be that the teams are so good defensively that they end up turning terrible defensively.
Yeah.
You just don't know. And so who do you think's coming out of the West? Phoenix, probably.
Yeah.
Chris Paul has been amazing.
Yeah, if Chris Paul keeps playing like he has been,
Booker can get more healthy.
Yeah, and that's only going to keep happening with more time. So
right.
The more time he has,
yeah,
he'll just get better for them. And we love Golden State, but there's just something about Phoenix. The way Chris Paul's playing, it's like he's unstoppable. 15 assists, just consistently. It's ridiculous.
That's just the difference between the Suns and Golden State. I feel like Golden State is actually deeper. Maybe.
Yeah, they
maybe.
Are. They definitely are.
But
because Booker went out against New Orleans and people were like,
what are you gonna do? Yeah.
They also didn't play that well, and then Chris Paul came alive.
Right. So So Phoenix and Dallas play later today. Dallas will probably steal one.
Yeah.
Or you said 2. You said that would go 6. So Dallas will probably steal 2, right?
I think they'll win both at home.
Interesting. Okay.
Um,
You really have a
it's-
thing about home court advantage when it doesn't exist in the NBA.
It does though in the playoffs. It does.
No, it's been proven over and over again to really not. Teams have
I
lost.
feel like in this playoffs, like the like
we're still
some of these
we're
teams,
still early in the playoffs, I think.
I know, but a lot of these teams, like you look at the teams, a lot of the teams rely on the crowd. A lot of these teams get going with the crowd. So that's where I'm coming from with that. Hey, good job, Lightning. Good job. You're up 1-0. It's better than the first game. Good job. Gold star for you.
Thumbs.
Good job not losing already to the Leafs. God. Carolina 3-0.
3-0 Carolina over the Bruins right now.
Yeah, did you see that Penguins game went to triple overtime?
Hold on. Yes, I didn't watch it. But I saw that it existed.
Yes.
So
all right. You want to do hockey and then wrap it?
Let's do hockey.
We're
we'll wrap it.
26.
We still got a viewer. Thanks, Mom. So yes. Let me
Okay.
share screen. Bum, bum, bum. Share. So here's
the Lightning bury the puck with 1.4 seconds left in the first period. Oh, and speaking of Ben Simmons, he has a 3 to 4 month recovery from surgery.
interesting.
Man, Yakers.
Let's do that hockey. So,
let's just talk about them real quick. Yeah.
Yep. So Penguins beat the Rangers last night. Rangers came out flying.
They did.
But then Casey DeSmith, did you see he pulled himself?
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
I thought so too. He pulled himself after the second overtime, and Domingue got the win.
That's weird,
isn't it? I thought it was really strange. I wanted to read up more on why that happened.
Mm-hmm. Who do we think's gonna win that series? I know. I think that's probably one of the toughest ones.
It's very hard to pick.
I mean, I want to say the Penguins because they have the experience, but like the Rangers are just so good, like offensively. Where it's like if and the thing about the Penguins goalies is if you can get on them, you can get on them. Like they
don't have a top guy.
Yeah, they're like very streaky. So it's
but streaky can also mean
streaky hot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to.
I don't know. He led in 3 and then settled in. So I'm gonna go with the Penguins just because of the experience.
Sorry, folks.
It's okay. They're all still there.
Okay, but it's not well seen. I think.
Just zoom it in a little. There you go.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
that's what you're gonna see.
I'm gonna go with the Penguins.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give games because I really don't know. I
haven't paid enough attention this year.
Well,
to other teams.
No, it's just like I feel like that's a series that could be won by one team in 4 or could go the distance. Like it's, I don't know. I truly don't know.
I think when you have Sidney Crosby on your team,
right?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. The 2 best players in this are Crosby and Fox. Right.
Yeah.
Fox is the best player on the Rangers. What'd you say?
Or Panarin.
Yeah, but Panarin. Oh no, he is having a big year.
Yeah.
Because the Rangers just
score like crazy. Kreider has 50 goals.
The Rangers just score like crazy. Yeah. So,
I mean, if they,
that's what hurts me to say. I think the Rangers are going to win this series. and that's why I'm trying not to pick them, because I don't want to. But I think the Rangers are going to take it. I mean, it's just that skirt. It's just their goalie is really good. Probably going to win, or will easily win the Vezina.
Yeah.
I would say, and will be in the running for Hart.
Yeah.
That's everything I've been reading from everywhere. So the Vezina is best goalie. Hart is best overall player. So Lightning Leafs won game 1-5 zip. Lightnings didn't show up. Toronto's up.
Yeah, Toronto's not going to win that series anyway.
Okay. So we're both rooting against Toronto.
No.
Do we think they're going to win
the series?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. You were telling me last night something's wrong with the Lightning. So
I don't want to actively root for that though, but I do think there is something wrong. But I don't.
Not wrong enough to lose to Toronto?
Yeah.
That's what we'll go with?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not picking the Leafs. I don't care. I think there is something wrong with Tampa, and there is a possibility they can lose this series, but I will not pick Toronto.
Okay. So the Blues beat the Wild 4-0 on Monday. I believe they play again tonight.
Tomorrow.
No, today.
No, today. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the today games. So the Blues beat the Wild 4-0. Do you think the Wild have a chance?
I do, but I not enough to pick them.
It's tough. I want to root for them.
Oh, I want to root for them too, because their turnaround has been mightily impressive, and that group of guys, that's like a solid group that they have going.
Yeah.
But it's just St. Louis and the playoffs.
There's something there.
Yeah.
Did you see Ryan O'Reilly playing the guitar on his on his stick last night? He was on the bench and using using his stick as the guitar, and it was kind of cool.
Kings Oilers. I think the Kings are going to win this, and that's not because I want to pick against the Oilers.
I would feel bad. I would feel so bad for the Oilers if they lose to the Kings.
I know, but there's just something.
I think you're right, though. I think the Kings are going to take this.
They're coming hot at the right time,
and there are a lot of young kids who don't understand the enormity of what the playoffs mean yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll get past.
They don't know that they're supposed to lose.
I mean, past round 2.
Yeah,
right. But they don't.
Right, they don't know that they're supposed to lose against Connor McDavid and the Oilers, so they're just playing to play.
So the Hurricanes whipped the Bruins.
Yep,
they're
sounds about right.
They're up 3-0 tonight.
Yeah, that's gonna go 4 or 5 games. And the Hurricanes are gonna win. They're just
speaking of teams in the playoffs.
They're too good.
Yeah,
I mean, the Bruins are a solid team and they're always good, but the Hurricanes are another beast.
I can't wait for our actual NHL talk, because the Bruins are my team to drop off next year. That's the playoff spot.
Well, I'm saying this year. I'm saying that
I know
the Bruins have, but
they're just solid. They're just average, kind of.
They're just always going to be in the conversation because they just always have it together.
I don't think next year. I think next year they're going to start a rebuild.
Yeah, maybe. I think if they lose this first round series, that will be a serious debate, because a lot of those guys are getting up there. So at some point you have to start thinking about moving on from, David Krejci and that.
Krejci's gone.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, Bergeron's
a free agent.
Group of men.
Bergeron's a free agent.
Well, they can re-sign him, but I think they shouldn't.
Right. I mean, it comes down for Bergeron. It comes down to whether he wants to stay there or not.
Yeah.
Like if he wants to have his whole career be a Bruin, or if he wants to go somewhere else and help another team like the Sabres. Perfect.
Austin Matthews becomes a free agent in 2025.
No, he won't be. He's going to get a $15 million contract per season from them. Yeah, he'll never hit free agency. I think the NHL needs to change their cap to be more like the NBA, where or football where you can at least like designate a guy, to be your franchise tag.
Yeah.
Because there's a problem there. There's a problem in hockey with the way that everything works with the LTIR, long-term injury
everything's
reserve.
just screwy.
So they need to fix their salary cap. Anyway, the biggest surprise so far was the Capitals beating the Panthers last night, 4-2. They kind of showed up in the third period, and
the Panthers aren't that good.
They're very good.
They're not. They're pretenders. They're gonna be regular season heroes, and they're gonna lose to the Caps. They're gonna lose to the Caps in 7.
7?
In 7.
Well, Ovechkin played in game 1, so he's back.
I know, but
and I mean,
and this honestly to me has nothing to do with the Capitals. This has more to do with the Panthers. I truly believe that they're pretenders.
They're just regular. They're the regular season.
They're regular season heroes. They're like the Avalanche were a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Until they start putting more, they need more pieces than people think. They have solid guys, but they don't have good enough guys to make it to a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
But they have good enough guys to win the regular season.
Yeah. That's fair.
They're pretenders.
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 The great pretenders.
Washington and 7. What do you think? Panthers?
Yeah, probably. I don't think they're pretenders. I think Bobrovsky has had a resurgence this year, and that he'll probably steal a game. Again, it's so hard to pick against these top players like Ovechkin and Crosby and that kind of thing. But I mean, and the Capitals have it together. They're a very good defensive team as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Capitals won, but the Panthers were too good all season for me to pick against them at this point.
Okay.
Stars Flames. Flames won 1-0. Flames are probably one of the 4 best teams in the league right now.
Yeah.
Coming into the playoffs. I think they'll kind of tear through the Stars pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The Stars may have to rebuild.
The Stars need some help.
They just need to get rid of their core and start over.
Yeah.
I mean, Sagan, Pavelski, these guys are good, and it's nice to have them.
They're too expensive.
But build around Robertson, build around your Heiskanen, that young goalie who was on fire all season for Ottinger, I think his name was.
Yeah, I think the Flames are gonna win that. I don't think the Stars have enough.
Predators Avalanche. Do the Predators have a chance?
Nope.
Avalanche scored 5 in the first period.
Yep. Sounds about right.
That's
for
what
the
happened.
Avalanche.
That's what happened last night. Who's gonna win it all? Okay, who's gonna come out of the West? Who's gonna come out of the East then?
Colorado's gonna come out of the West. Who is gonna come out of the East? Hurricanes.
All right.
I think this is Colorado's year. I feel like I've been saying that for the past 3 years, but there's just
something about them.
The way they're scoring, though, like it's not like they used to rely so much on just their start. It's now coming across the board.
Right. And they brought guys in.
And their defense, that kid Byram is amazing.
Yes.
Eric Johnson is still super good for them.
He's good enough.
He gets the job done.
Right.
I
mean, they have Hughes, right?
And they have Hughes. Yeah. It's like
Hughes. Hughes is with Vancouver. Who's the guy I'm thinking of?
I don't know. But they have all these
Makar.
Yeah, right. Makar. Can't forget him. They have too much. Too much. Like, and we've said that. I think we said that about the Hurricanes too.
Mm-hmm.
The Avalanche have more
than the Hurricanes,
in my opinion. I mean, they have the goaltending, they have the defense, they have the offense.
Yeah, they
have everything.
This is their window,
right?
Because there's like three main guys who are free agents at the end of the season.
Yeah,
who one being their goalie.
They also, since they've invested so much in the NHL, side with money, they
Mhm.
also don't have the best farm system.
Right.
So if they don't get it done with this group, they're going to be bad for a long time.
Right. But McCarr, Hughes,
Right. They're going
or
to have this.
sorry, McCarr,
Byram. Yeah.
Byram. You know, I mean, they have these guys.
They had these guys for a while, and but
So
they still have a window.
It'll just be a different set. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying, like Landeskog's up there. You know,
Yeah.
A couple other guys, you know, are getting up there. Kadri, you know, who they just brought in and is playing great.
Yeah.
But
you think Avalanche too, right?
Out of the West, I think your final four will be the Avalanche, the Blues, the Lightning, and the Panthers. Is that what I'm saying?
Okay. So who are your final two then?
Who would win between the Panthers and the Lightning?
Okay.
The Battle of Florida. That's awful. And then Blues and Avalanche. I guess I'll take an Avalanche Lightning series.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be.
I would rather that than probably any other series.
I think Avalanche Carolina would be fun.
Avalanche Toronto would be fun to watch if we didn't have a rooting or non-rooting interest. But
everybody hates Austin Matthews. All my homies hate Austin Matthews.
I don't hate Austin Matthews.
I hate Austin Matthews.
Of all the players who we should hate, you know how you have those players who like we're supposed to hate and that kind of thing. Matthews is like one of those guys who doesn't bug me, and I don't know why, but he really doesn't. He doesn't bug me. So, any final thoughts?
No.
Supreme Court sucks.
Yeah. Republicans. Well, never mind. If you made it to the end, we appreciate you for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us at Gameday716 on Twitter. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Follow us at Gameday716 on Twitter. Interact with us there as well. We appreciate you for making it to the end. This was another long one.
But you're awesome.
You got anything for us? Or
prayers to Ukraine.
Woohoo. With that said, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and may the 4th be with you.
Stay sunny, Buffalo.